And we got a shout out to Ryan Donato, who just was basically said, "F it, I'm scoring right now."
That was awesome.
Banks it off the boards to himself, and then just sees an opportunity and drives the net and tucks it right past Logan Thompson. And I've seen a lot of those from Donato, where just like those plays where he will not be denied.
He's playing.
He's a
very,
dog, man.
Very motivated this year. He's in a contract year. He's on a team that is going to be selling at the deadline, and he's we go back to it what we said yesterday, kind of talking about like who are the UFAs that you'd want to keep around.
I'm bringing him back.
He'd be a guy that he's at the top of my list of candidates to bring back, because he's very versatile, and he's had success in he's having success playing on a top line role, which I don't think he normally would be on most other teams. And man, he's playing motivated. So I'm very happy that he's been able to have that kind of season, because if it's not him, I don't know who else is scoring goals on this team right now.
I mean, look, he's 28. He makes $2 million this year, so probably be due for a little bit of a raise. But I don't think Donato is going to be the kind of guy who's like, give me $5 million. Would you give him 3? Would you give him 2 years, $3 million?
I'd give him 3. I'd give him 3.5.
Yeah, I think that's like, remind people when the Hawks traded Brandon Hagel and the players were like, if this guy, like you saw Taves and other guys frustrated about it because they're like, if we're not keeping this guy, what are we doing? And it's when they really got the idea, like, oh God, we are about to tank.
You're tanking, Jonathan.
I could see guys on this team not seeing Ryan Donato come back and being like, why? Why would he not be a guy you want to lock up here and have? Like, he's versatile as hell, can play on all 4 lines, can play on the power play, can play center or wing. Why would you not want Ryan Donato back? If you can get him for 3, I would go up to 3.5 for Ryan Donato.
Yeah, I mean, factoring that the salary cap's going up high.
Yeah,
but and the thing is, like, you're not keeping all of these guys around, but you theoretically can't just trade all. You can't trade all of them.
No, I don't go Rockford in Chicago next year.
Yeah, I don't think that's realistic. But so if you're saying, like, if there is a guy or 2 of the UFAs that you're like keeping around past the trade deadline and at least have the option to extend or something, again, like, yeah, I still say Donato is one of those guys. Like, because I mean, you probably could get something pretty nice for Taylor Hall if he keeps playing the way that he has in the last handful of games. Pat Maroon's a guy that contending teams love to have. I just think Donato is playing his way into that, like, maybe keep him around because it's good for the team, good for the lineup. And good for the player too.
You're looking at, the season's coming up and he is an unrestricted free agent after this year, signed for $2 million right now. We had said, kind of agreed, we'd go up to about 3.5 to keep Ryan Donato around for a handful of years, maybe 2, maybe 3, with the versatility and everything he brings. And we mentioned how the Hawks were sort of despondent when they traded Brandon Hagel and said, hey, if this guy can't stay here, who can? I think a lot of the guys in that room would feel the same way if Ryan Donato went away. Like, that's a guy who does everything you ask him to do at a high level, first line, fourth line, center, wing, whatever you ask, he's going to do it and do it well. I'd like to see him brought back.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think you kind of look at him the same way the team looked at Nick Foligno and Jason Dickinson last year, 2 guys that could have fetched you a 3rd or 4th round pick at the trade deadline, but they said it was more valuable to have him here for another couple years. I think Donato fits that role too. Reward a guy for doing everything they asked. They wanted him to improve his skating and be a little quicker, and he did that this offseason, and it's paying dividends for him. I would love to keep Donato here for another couple of years. And while he's leading the team in goals, I would love to keep Donato here so he could be that depth bottom 6 scorer and not have to play on the top line and the top power play, because that means the team has gotten better and the roster has gotten better and he could play more of a role that's suited for him. But it's hard to argue with the results. He's playing way above where he should be and he's excelling at it. So good for him. And I would absolutely have zero problem with Ryan Donato getting that extension, and do it before the trade deadline to kind of be like, hey, we're gonna keep you out of the trade rumors. We're gonna reward you. You don't
I like
have to
that.
worry about it. You're here. This is, that's your reward. The 2-year, 3-year deal, whatever they want to do, but do it before the trade deadline so he doesn't have to sweat it out.
We all silly like the mayor.